Hello and welcome to the third week of our live self-care check-in. I'm Sarah, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and this is...
Hi, I'm Anna.
You have to shout here.
Hi, I'm Anna.
Anna is my co-founder, my real-life sister, and we have been separated by the entire East Coast of the U.S. the past 7 weeks, and we are back together again at our home base here at Sisters Enchanted headquarters. And so I dragged Anna in for this morning. I did not give her warning. She was here for something else.
And now I'm here.
Yeah, I know. But we didn't have time to set up the second microphone. So Anna has to shout or lean in front of me in order to be heard. But hello, everybody. We are here for week 3 of our self-care challenge. So this week, we actually have quite a few. We have live this check-in today. We have one on Thursday, and we also have one on Sunday. And so you're going to see a lot of my face this week as we check in on self-care. If you are new here, we do have a lot of new folks joining us for our Expedition to Soul class. If you are finding us from that, I'm going to just lower this down. If you're finding us from Expedition to Soul, this is part of a live self-care challenge we're hosting right now. You can join in on that like right now. You can totally catch up or just go at your own pace. If you just registered for Expedition to Soul, you should have a link to get that information in your welcome email if you want to join us for self-care. In the comments today, you have Christina Boost. She's our student success sorceress here helping you out. The lovely Sarah Milne, our program director. We have Danielle Capri hanging out. She is all things creative and product here. And Brandy might be here. I think she might have had to run and do some mom duty stuff. But Brandy, she is part of Team TSE. And of course, Anna, who's not in the comments today, she is standing next to me. So while we get started here, let me remind you of who we are, what we do. We started the Sisters Enchanted in 2016 to bring magic to the world. We believe in intention, intuition, and everyday magic. And courses, programs like this one, and community is one of the ways in which we do this. Hello from Connecticut, I see in the comments. Hello also from Connecticut. We are in Connecticut too. We have one overarching guideline here. It is to lead with kindness. Remember that we are all people living lives all around the world, all around everywhere, and we don't know each other. And sometimes, communication can get iffy in text context, even, just verbally. So remember to lead with kindness, and remember that we are all different people having different experiences as we come together online. All right. That said, this is officially week 3 of our self-care challenge. If you've been participating in live time with us, this week is all about putting into practice everything that you've done over the last 2 weeks. So the first week was about your barriers, your boundaries, identifying kind of the things that are standing between where you are and where you want to be. And we start with that because so many people want to understand maybe why they don't have somebody supportive in their life, or why they can't find time for themselves, or why they're not where they want to be yet. And most of the reason we don't have these things really is within us. Of course, there are all kinds of external sort of circumstances. Maybe we were born into a circumstance, or we live with somebody who's just really impossible in some way, or we have a health condition. There are all kinds of things that are very real in our lives and very much make it challenging for us to move forward. And because of those very real things, we really have to look at ourselves and understand the power we're giving to those things, and bring the power back to ourselves. So that's what we do during week 1. Week 2, which was last week, is all about different kinds of self-care. So from looking at finances to communication and relationships, to your own physical well-being, to your spiritual well-being, and bringing all of those different ideas together so that you can really create a life that feels like it's there to care for you, and not a life that you feel like you have to escape from to find self-care. Right?
Right.
Now, I wish we had the second microphone set up and then we could just talk freely, but that doesn't mean that life is always going to be easy, right? Sometimes life is challenging. I know in my own life in the past few weeks, I have had my own medical things happen. We had a family member with medical things. That dreaded virus hit the household for a couple of people. Just this morning, I walked into a piece of metal. You might see the big egg on my head. I can't find it in the camera.
Oh, it's
but
there.
Oh, there it is. I can feel it now.
It's there.
I walked into a piece of metal rushing around just left me with a nice headache on this day. Life is not always easy. There's unexpected medical things, unexpected bills that show up. And when you practice the things we're talking about in these few weeks in the self-care practice, you have built into your life the tools to support you through that. So you don't feel like everything's crashing down around you, even if it might be, and you really can see how to keep moving forward. You know how to come back to center because you've been practicing it and you built life around it. So it's not about this life like just making all the hard stuff disappear. It's about creating a sustainable life full of self-care to support you forward. Right?
Yes.
Yes, Anna says. So this week is really a challenge to you to put into practice what you've learned. Each of the 7 days, we invite you this week, today through Sunday, to practice something from the exercises that we've gone over in this self-care class, in this free challenge. If you listen to the audio feed, the link for that is on your download page. Or if you have the book version of the class, just shout this out. If you have the book version, there's all kinds of extra resources and ideas for self-care in here to put into practice during this week. Now, here's the thing about self-care and why we're doing all of this work here and why we're bringing all this together. Wherever it is that you want to be in life, whether for me, I just spent 7 weeks in sunny Florida, which ended up being kind of a hot mess of a trip, but we still got to do that. A few years ago, I never, ever would have believed that I had it within me to like live this life where I could just go places and do things and experience in that way, right? But it's through these things in these self-care practices that actually made that happen for me because I looked at where I'm my own barrier, where I'm not holding boundaries and I feel miserable. I looked at all of these things. I practiced financial self-care. I practiced relational self-care, and I'm still practicing them. These things are not perfect, but I'm still practicing them. And in hindsight, I can see how everything lined up just the way it was supposed to get to where I am today. We're so often looking for somebody to just tell us the answer. Like, we get requests for tarot readings, astrology readings all the time, and people just want the answer. Like, what am I supposed to do? What is my life's purpose? Well, spoiler alert, no one can tell you that. And you won't see how it all happened until you can see it in the rearview mirror. I can now look at the past 8 years of my life and see very clearly how things lined up to be exactly where they are now. But 8 years ago, I had no idea where I was going, what I was doing, or how it was going to line up. But continuing to do these things here made the space for all of that to happen. And I really invite you to go back through these last 14 days, pick some things that maybe you haven't done yet, schedule them in for the next 7 days, and start to make those changes now. Do you want to share while I drink some coffee and rest my voice and my aching head here? Do you want to share a little bit about how making different self-care changes in your life has led to some of the things that you experience in life now that maybe you didn't expect? For example, working part-time from home. Anna's 2 children with her first child. She had to go back to work full-time, working retail hours right away. This time, her kiddo is now over 1 now, but she was able to stay working from home part-time. We actually recently reduced Anna's hours a little bit further here. Yay. So she had more time to be home and on mama duty.
So much time.
So, but how has like the things that we talk about in magical self-care in this challenge allowed this stuff to come into life for you? Remember to talk into the mic.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should switch sides or something. Hi. It's like musical microphones.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I would say, and it was really interesting. What was it? I think the day 10 thread, which was a lot to do with people's time and their perception of time. And I will say that I am not perfect. I don't always do the best time management myself, but I will say that having a lot more time,
you could hear her. Well, that's good.
you were making me like,
well, because these microphones, you're supposed to talk into them. Like they're not supposed to pick up surround sound.
Well, anyways, I was going to say one thing that's really great for me, especially with taking the time and removing some of like the time constraints. How many times can we say time in this moment? Is that it helped me really try to get a better routine of just like my day to day, because I am a super Virgo, so much Virgo everywhere, that I get really mind cluttered, and my mind clutter turns into panic, and just then I just crash and then do nothing. So being able to have time and spend time at home, it helps with my mom guilt that I had from the first baby and not being home. But it also helps me to have time to do the things, to declutter, to clean, to tidy up, because that leaves space in my mind for freedom of the chaos that's around me. So clearing up my time helps clear my brain of things, which is really important.
Yeah. I'm super obsessed with time. I think
you are super obsessed.
I'm very obsessed with time. Time, and I'm really obsessed with time and its direct connection to money. I'm just going to stand here and shout because everyone says they can hear us.
Yeah.
Our mics are supposed to not pick up sound from the edge, but I think I might have clicked the wrong button, turning it on, which might have worked in our favor, and it's actually making it pick up everything.
There you
go. Anyway, I'm super obsessed with time because it's the thing everybody says they don't have enough of. Everybody is like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for self-care. I don't have time to read the book. I don't have time to take a class. I don't have time to do whatever. And this is one of those moments where I'm totally, everybody has their own unique circumstances. And I can say that I will say that doing a lot of things is a superpower of mine. So I will say that to begin with, that I'm very good at juggling lots of things. But as a person who I've run 2 businesses at the same time, spent my days home with my toddler, where I started working at 3 p.m. and then built the other business at night when she was sleeping, and then did that while I was pregnant. I can tell you that if you know where you want to go, you can find the time. I think it's not a time problem. I think it's the knowing where you want to go problem is the actual problem, because so many of us just pick and choose what we're doing in life based on what we're told to do. So I got a job out of college, then I went to graduate school. And in all those times, I felt kind of just like I wasn't not happy. I mean, I was happy. I was getting married. I had like a decent life. But I think that I was just doing things I thought I should do. And it wasn't until I really looked at myself and thought, what life do I want to live? And why am I not living it? And I realized where I wanted to go in life, what I wanted my life to look like. And that is when I found time for all the things that truly mattered. And then I'm also directly obsessed with time and its connection to money, because so many people will say they don't have time or they don't have money. But the wild things that we do to, like, right now with gas prices, everybody knows the gas prices are crazy. You don't have to tell me. We just drove our diesel truck from Florida to Connecticut, paying $5-something a gallon for diesel. On the East Coast here. So I know gas prices, and I can say the amount of people we saw in line for the gas stations that were like 10 cents, 5 cents cheaper versus the people who were paying the 5 or 10 cents more and less lines, the amount of time to sit in that line to save 10 cents a gallon or 5 cents a gallon versus getting in and out of the line where you're paying 5 or 10 cents more, but you have 20 extra minutes of your time. And that 20 minutes, if you have a side hustle where you can answer customer service emails for somebody and get paid $30 an hour or $20 an hour or even $15 an hour, depending on the company or what it is that they're looking for, you can make money in that 20 minutes, right? But we will waste time trying to save $1, or we'll waste time trying to like do something because we perceive it as being the right humble thing to do, not paying somebody the extra money to take care of something for you. Or there's just this example of standing in line to save something. Or how many people do this? I've been in this position where you don't want to spend the 10 minutes to like do the whole coffee pot at home situation, but you'll sit in the line for 20 minutes to get the to-go coffee, right? Now, I don't think that spending the money on the coffee is the problem. I think it's the time assessment that's the problem. So when we look at self-care and start to really consider our relationship with time, I really believe that we have more time than we think. I think it's our value on time. And I think too, placing value on a few minutes also, because we'll think like, oh, I only have 5 minutes. I can't do anything in 5 minutes. I'll just sit here. I can tell you that in 5 minutes, you can do a heck of a lot if you know in advance what you want to do and why you want to do it. If you don't know where you want to be, if you don't know what your future vision is, that 5 minutes, you could spend 5 minutes just going through the to-do list and really not pick anything. But if you know that in my case, like I want to, 6 years ago, I wanted to build this business, or I had a different business at the time. So in 5 minutes, I could know exactly what I could do with 5 minutes, exactly the perfect thing to do to get me where I wanted to be. Not knowing when I was like, oh, I don't know, life's okay. Maybe it's, I don't really know what my future vision is. That's when 5 minutes isn't worth much. You really have to know, where am I going? What's of value to me? Like Anna's values involve, Anna's like the home goddess. She's like a house and hearth goddess, home and hearth goddess. So for her, with 5 minutes, she knows that about herself. So in 5 minutes, Anna can like whip up a delightful meal with whatever random things are laying around. In 5 minutes, Anna can rearrange her plants so they're all getting the right amount of sunlight. In 5 minutes, Anna loves mythology. Anna can refresh her sacred spaces in her house with a new oracle card of a different deity, move the crystals around, because she knows this about herself. She knows where she wants to be. She knows what she wants her life to look like. Mm-hmm. Just like with me, I know that I want time and location freedom. So if I have 5 minutes, I'm making a choice to get me there, right? Get me moving in that direction.
I know, what was it yesterday? Sarah was on her way home from Florida. It was her landing day. And I was running out of time because I wanted to make her and her family dinner and drop it off so that like it was just ready. And I got 45 minutes of help and whipped up 2 servings of dinner, had to bake 2 batches of bread, and got it to Sarah's house before she got out of the truck.
Yeah.
I was like, I need 45 minutes of somebody's help with a baby so that I can, or toddler, a raging toddler, and to do this. And I did it really fast, dropped it off. Oh, I'm sorry, I moved too fast.
I think I did too. Whoops. Yeah. Well, so I'm seeing some people that are saying, well, it's just the time figuring out what to do. Someone sharing chronic procrastinator. And you know what? I believe that when we're procrastinating, it's because it's not something that we necessarily should be doing. I truly believe that. That's another thing that I really hold dear, is that I think that we all have strengths and that we should focus on our strengths. That's what I think. I think that it is not much use of anybody to focus too much on their weaknesses. And then that procrastination front, I still, I'm a business owner here, and I have yet to get all my tax stuff together. And we all know what date it is. And my taxes are not just like a one piece of paper. It's like a bucket of stuff. But that's not my zone of genius. That's not my thing. And so of course I procrastinate on it, but it doesn't have anything to do with what I'm good at, my strengths, or my vision for myself, right? That's all stuff. And I do have somebody who does it for me, but there are like personal items that I have to get together for her. But I hire, I have a bookkeeper, we have an accountant, because I can't do that. I would procrastinate like crazy. And it's these odds and ends things she needs from me that I'm not getting together. But my point being is, I don't look at that and think, oh, I'm such a procrastinator. I look at that and think that makes sense, because that's not my strong suit. So it's pretty clear to me why I'm not doing it. And I don't look at it and think I'm a procrastinator, or I'm lazy, or I'm failing at this. I look at that and think, check, that sounds like me. Just like when my house is not clean in some area, or I forget some little thing like shutting off a light, or I forget to like turn down the heat on the stove. None of that is my strong suit. None of it's my zone of genius. And so when that stuff happens, I don't think to myself, what's wrong with me as a person, I think that makes sense. That makes
Right.
sense to me, is what I think.
Well, we always talk about too, because Sarah, myself, and our mother live like all very close together. And we're always joking about how we're always strapped. Like, I have to do this day, and I have to do this day, and there's no time for this. And we're always so like stressed. And it's like, Sarah could do all the extra things if like 2 nights a week I just batched cooked 2 of my meals big enough for her family. Or, like on a weekend morning, my mom and I went to Sarah's house for like a morning cleaning, but then that would leave also space for Sarah to do other things that might be burdensome to me that aren't great for me. And we need to like, somebody's saying planning helps, and planning does help, but working around the strengths of the people around you too.
And it's the same when you're looking at the people in your life. I can't, the amount of time I've spent mad or resentful toward my husband for not living up to some expectation or standard, when that's just not his strength. It is not his strength. So what are his strengths, and how do we lean into those? And recently we've put him in the position to do more of, he's great at helping. He's great at moving long distance travel and getting places quickly when family members need it. So we've been really putting him in these positions where he's able to shine and support people in the way that works for him. And so rather than being so resentful or mad at him, right, I'm like, okay, what is the best thing for you? Let's put you in that position. And the same with the rest of us, but we have to do that to ourselves also. So going back to the practices in the self-care book, I hope if you go back to boundaries, you go back to barriers, you go back to the chaos moments, looking at those will help you to see where you can put yourself in the best position for you. And what does all of this have to do with moon phases and magic and tarot and all the other stuff we talk about here at the Sisters Enchanted? Well, so often people will make their crystal grids, they'll do a tarot reading, but they're doing it from the place of feeling like they don't have what they want, or doing it from the place of feeling not good enough, or like, if only I could get the answer. And that's not helpful for anybody. So understanding who you are, understanding why you don't already have the care, the life that feels supportive that you want, understanding all of that, then we use tarot for shadow work. Then we use crystals to help us focus our energy to what it is that we want. Then we use the lunar phases and the lunar cycle to get in rhythm with intention setting, living our intentions, resetting our intentions, visualizing the future. We bring that rhythm, that relatable pattern into our life to help us move quicker in the end and get in sync with the present moment and what's going on around us energetically and within us. But none of that is super effective if you haven't done the things that we talk about here in the self-care challenge, because this is really like calling your own self to the table and saying, where do I need relational self-care? Where do I need physical and spiritual self-care? Financial self-care? What are my boundaries around this? My barriers around this? And why are they there to begin with, right? And start understanding that. And I love this too. I see here sharing that procrastinator here as well, seem to do better under pressure, how to live life without being able to plan ahead. Yeah, I can relate to that also.
I'm really good under pressure.
Yeah, but for me, that's when something's not in my zone of genius though, right? So if it's not something that I really see value in, or I'm like, why do I actually have to do this? I can get it done last minute and do it great. But it's that pressure that makes it happen. Whereas if it's something that's in alignment with what I actually want in life, I can get that done. I can feel really good about it. I'll over plan for it. Like, I'll think about all the options and spend a lot of time working on it. But it's because it's part of my future vision. It's what I actually want for myself. So I think getting to the heart of that, what do you want? Who is your authentic self? Who are you? That is the question. Who are you, Anna?
I'm still trying to figure it out.
Well, I think a good example of this for us too, as we round this out here, would be like in the past few years, because we came up with the idea for the Sisters Enchanted together, and I was the one who really ran with it and made it happen and brought it into being. And Anna, it took like 3 years before Anna worked here on a full-time basis. Before that, Anna was kind of just like spotty, intermittently working here, always supporting me, always. But in terms of like full-time focus, it took a few years. And I think that, I hope I'm not over speaking for you, But I can see in the last few years where Anna has kind of struggled with being like, I should be more of the Sisters Enchanted. I should do more. I should be more. But really asking like, well, why do you think that? Is it just because, like, why? Is that where your heart's desire is, I guess is my point. And I think Anna's heart's desire, Anna does want to be the Sisters Enchanted, but Anna's heart's desire is this hearth and home person that she wants to be, where my heart's desire is the Sisters Enchanted. That doesn't mean that I don't cook and clean my house and fold my laundry and like live in my home, but that's not where my heart is. My heart is here. Anna loves to be here. She loves to support people, teach the classes, come up with the ideas, but Anna's heart, her future vision is just a different one. So like giving Anna the space to say, actually, I'm in the perfect spot for me. This is perfect. I shouldn't feel bad or pressure to do more. That's the word, the pressure.
Right. That's what I was saying earlier, that like I'm in a really good position that if Sarah needed to work more, that I can help bring meals. I can help with children. I can help do things that are easier for me than they are for Sarah. And then you were able to have that kind of give and take here as the sisters.
The sisters. So anyway, this week is all about picking something to do each day of the 7 days. I'd love to challenge you to do something you've never done before. Pull something new out of the bag of tricks that you've developed, and really do some considering as to your future vision and what that looks like for you. We do have our free Expedition to Soul class starting on the 18th. So it's in 2 weeks. And that class it's like the next step. We spend the first day is about intention setting. We do some future visioning within the 5 days, meeting your future self, being your own best friend and your own greatest ally is in there. It's a day that always brings some people to tears. So it's an amazing free class. I encourage you to join it because that will help, that's like the next application of this. We do have this time around, it's totally new. We're calling it like the VIP upgraded option. And it's only $39. But if you want to register for that, we're going to have a smaller community group, a couple of Zoom Q&As. Our friend Rochelle, who's the healer in our membership program, is going to do a visualization for us. We have some other video bonuses for you. And we're also popping some fun Expedition to Soul swag in the mail for you, so you can deck out your goodies and remember your quest.
Yes.
So,
and I'm seeing the question
there.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm seeing the question. If you've taken Expedition to Soul before, should I take it again?
Yes.
The answer is yes. That if you want to have email reminders, make sure you do sign up again for that, so that you can get the emails and all the reminders and things. But yeah, people have taken it one time. People have taken it 10 times, I'm sure, by now.
We've taught it that many times.
Yeah, and each time you learn something different about yourself, or you progress in a different way that you didn't the time before. So definitely, if you've taken Expedition to Soul again, or taken it once, take it again, and then don't be afraid to take it again and take it again, or even do your own Expedition to Soul for 5 days in between when we're doing it. It's such a great check-in with self.
It is. Yeah. And if you are looking for more accountability, we'll have the smaller group open just for it in our app. So you don't have to be on Facebook scrolling and getting distracted by other things. So we're going to have a specific community for it in our app that we have. That's where all of our program communities are. They're not on Facebook. So we'll have that there. And that's also where the extra videos are. It's where we'll put the replay from the Zoom call, our co-witching that you'll be invited to. And then, of course, when you register, we'll collect your address so we can get your stickers in the mail. We also have some fun vintage stickers here. These are vintage Sisters Enchanted. We're going to be popping in envelopes while we have them. So while we have them, Anna drew this. All these 2016, Anna drew this bad boy. So we have some vintage stickers we'll be sticking in there too until they're gone. Anyway, all right. Yes, Amber says it's never not a great time to take another Expedition to Soul.
Huzzah.
Huzzah. So good. It's so good. And I just want to say one more quick thing. I saw a comment, we're such good sisters to each other. And I will say, oh yeah, my head.
It's getting worse.
You can't even see how bad it is on this camera. And I have makeup caked on it. Anna and I were not always in this rhythm that we're in now. It took like even the last 3 years really that it's constant. We're like, you see us and we're talking about how Anna helps with my cooking, and like I can put all the kids in my car and take them on a hike for an hour, which like would not be Anna's strong. Anna could do it just like I could cook, but that would not be Anna's preferred way to spend her time. But that would be mine. Like I'll take all these kids and I'll take them on an adventure. It's going to be great. But it's all the things we teach here. It's constant progression of all of this. Constant. We have relationship issues from the past with us, with our own mother, who can probably hear. She's here with our kids, I think, right now. It's still on the other side of the wall.
I hope she's still here with the kids on the other side of the wall.
But there is a history to all of this. It was not just this way. It is literally the things we teach in these programs that got us here.
Oh my gosh. You don't know how many times that like we need to talk to each other, and a lot of times me, but I'll preface something being like, I need to say something and it's super shadowy, but I just like need to say it.
Yeah.
And like, I want you to know that I'm coming from like a super shadowy place before I say.
I know, and
the
like
thing.
Another example. I just spent 7 weeks in Florida. I homeschool and I run a remote business, so I can spend 7 weeks in Florida if I want to. I live in Connecticut, where it is not Florida weather right now.
It's not. No.
And 10 years ago, my husband and I are coming up on our 10-year wedding anniversary, and this is it's a private story I'll share. We got married. We went on our honeymoon, came home a week later, and we didn't have any money in the bank. I was working at a summer camp for like a little bit over minimum wage, and he had been laid off right before we got married. And we had like $3,000 from our wedding that we got in money, because no one in our family is giving us, like, they don't all just have money that they're giving us. So we didn't have much money. We were like, oh my gosh, we have $3,000. We're practically rich. And 2,000 of it, he had a credit card debt I didn't know about that he hadn't paid, and 2,000 of it was subpoenaed right out of our account. 10 years ago in June, this happened. 10 years ago in June. Fast forward 10 years, and
you can spend 7 weeks in Florida.
I can spend 7 weeks in Florida, and only 4% of female-owned businesses, like we're in the top 4% of income revenue generating female-owned businesses, which tells you two things. One, female business owners don't make that much money, and that's silly and ridiculous, which is why we all need to do these things. And two, I know what I'm talking about.
And three, you all are the best community ever.
Yes, true. Because our community helps support everybody through. But what you see here, it wasn't this way. And that's why we teach these things, because we know it takes time. We know it takes time. But you start with those boundaries, start with your barriers today. You build in the self-care tomorrow. 1 year, what's 1 year from now going to look like? Completely different. 2 years from now, completely different. 3 years, completely different. Hey, Ellen. Ellen in the comments is Anna's mother-in-law.
Hello.
Anna's delightful mother-in-law.
Yes.
Anyway, so the things we're talking about, it's not overnight. And what you see here was not overnight either. That is time, and it's really understanding yourself and what you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's important. Not what you want based on what somebody else tells you should have. The job, the house, the this, the that. It's what you want and what you value. That's what's going to get you where you want to go.
That's true.
Well, with that said, I've been on the computer since 9 o'clock this morning.
Sarah needs a break.
Sit down and ice
and an ice pack.
ice my bruised.
So bad.
There's an angle where you can really see it that well on here.
I mean, it's probably because the lighting is like,
it's big. It's the size of like a silver dollar. Anyway, Anna's mother-in-law is a nurse. She should come tend to
I know. Sarah might be concussed. She might need some support.
Anyway, all right. So I will be back on Thursday for another live stream. Again, on Sunday, we're going to talk more about this magical self-care. Mm-hmm. If you're not registered for Expedition to Soul, register for the free version or the upgraded version. The upgraded version, we're going to start popping the stickers in the mail for you this week. So get yourself registered so we can stick those in. Keep participating in the threads over in the Facebook group, because we're going to pick the winners early next week for the prizes from the threads.
And we're reading them. We are in there. We are reading them. We appreciate you.
Yep.
So keep commenting.
Yes. All right, then. Oh, yes. Hi, Katarina. I was just thinking about you in Florida. The lives podcast on Facebook. These are on the Facebook group. Yes. You can see these videos there in the Facebook group. I was just thinking about you because I was just in Florida. All right, everyone. I hope that you have a great day ahead. Participate. We'll see you in the group, and I will see you live on Thursday. All right. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.